What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? It's me. It's Justin. It's Chaz. We in the building. We got some things to break down for y'all. Shout out to a real basketball team in the Minnesota Timberwolves, uh, kicking the Thunder. I mean, kicking the Nuggets ass. Before we get started,
To me, the best chemistry, the best artist, the best producer in the world. I don't think nothing can fade
Man, the
it.
French ain't no joke. I mean, they got
It's
people
just
jacking them from everywhere.
For sure. And we ain't giving our flavor. Let them get it how they live. Do their own.
gotta get it how you live. Do your own thing. So look, this show is sponsored by us because it's for us by us. Shout out to Fubu Jeans. We'll come out with some Buku Media jeans pretty soon. So your own seams. Um, yeah, man. So like I wanted to break down Griff's exit interview. Thought he said some interesting things. And due to technology, I found a way that I can do it and I can talk about it kind of like a streamer. Never knew I wanted to be a streamer before. Shout out to Kai Sinet and all the rest of them boys. Um, who they pretty annoying though, honestly. Don't shout them out. Never mind. I don't really they yeah. Um so yeah, look, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna stop it at certain points. We talk about it. Y'all tell me if y'all need me to, hit the pause button on it and we'll just see. So again, this is executive vice president of basketball opera. Yo, stop calling Griff the CEO, but I mean the GM by the way. He's not the GM.
Yeah, no, Jim.
We gotta stop doing that. You gotta put the GM problems on the GM.
This motherfucker made his own title up. That's crazy.
That's important. I didn't know he was the. I thought he was the vice president. I didn't know he was the executive vice.
What's in the office? What's Dwight? The assistant to the regional
That's
manager.
just
That's
yeah, to the regional, yeah, for sure. Damn, he got a little Dwight Schrute in him.
He might have. Yeah,
That was crazy. Pause. All right, let me know if y'all can hear this.
Jada, you good?
Chaz, you good?
Yep.
All right.
What do you make of 49 regular season wins, but ending the season like that in the playoffs and the totality of that?
Yeah, so obviously disappointed to be doing this today. I think the 49 wins that you alluded to are part of several things that happened this year that would have led you to believe we'd be playing deep into the summer at times. I think there were times where very large chunks of the season for months at a time where we had the second best net rating in the league, and were it not for Boston, we would have looked like the best team in the league for stretches. And I also
Hold on a second there, David. See, this is where you lost me. First of all, anytime somebody starts a conversation with I ask you a question and your retort is yeah, so you automatically brushed over what was asked of you. You didn't even dog alluded to bro. This dude could sell water to a well. I just need to know at what point in this season we were better than Boston.
Well, according to the net rating, we were close to. That's
okay.
the thing.
Oh, so that's what he's going off the net rating. Gotcha. Okay.
You're going off the net rating, right? It's just like going off plus minus. It tells you everything about the game, right? If you're a plus minus guy, like that's what I can't understand. That's why I hate plus minus. But who cares? Like, if you watched the games, and Chaz has talked to us all the time, bro. Like, go look at the teams that we got our ass kicked by Denver, got your ass kicked by the Thunder, you got your ass kicked by the Celtics. Yeah, like the top teams kick your ass. Not only they kick your ass on the road, they came to your house and beat you by double digits. I mean, the Clippers come in, they beat you by 30. Like, the Lakers come in, they beat you by 30. Like, all these teams can't, like, just because of net rating, you think you're at the top of the top?
I think that's why it's so important to have like pushback. You know, when a person get to like just spewing lies like that, because it's like, brother, you got one of the worst home records in the league. You've never won 5 games. You haven't won 5 games in a row in years. Teams like Houston won 11 in a row. Again, you're losing to teams on the second nights of back-to-backs. You dropped 2 games to Houston prior to what All-Star break. You already had dropped 2 games to Houston. You already had dropped 2 games to Utah. You already had dropped a game to Chicago. You already had lost twice to Memphis. You already like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Can I throw the stat out? I
Yeah.
threw this stat out like a month ago, but opponents' largest leads at the Smoothie King Center in losses this year. Golden State was up by 29. Atlanta was up 18. Dallas was up 29. Clippers up 31. Phoenix up 30. OKC up 26. OKC again up 20. Cleveland up 27. Phoenix up 27. Lakers up 32. Boston up 22. This is at your house. This is at your home. That you trailed at least you trailed by 30 3 times this year at home during a game. 30 points at home. And you're going to give me net rating?
Not to mention though, your starting five is a net negative. So
It was all year.
the whole year.
Should we continue?
Come on.
I think we had stretches where you could see we had a lot of room for growth and a lot of improvement we needed to make. Unfortunately, we continued to have injury issues and certainly had a big.
No. I'm sorry. I know I only let the clip play for 2 seconds, but no. That is not why you ended up. You ended up where he talks about continuity. We literally watching Ant and Cat play together on a court. You didn't get that out of your guys. And if anything, the roster construction led for Willie to be. No, I'm sorry.
Big one at the wrong time. But there's so many positives we take out of the season. You know, it's really unfortunate this season ended in the way it did. You'd like a season to crescendo to a moment that lets everybody know how good your season really was. We had the #1 road record in the NBA. We were 6th in defensive rating and 6th in net rating. We had.
If I got to hear we're 6th in defensive rating one more time, do we understand that we averaged 86.5 points in 4 games against the Oklahoma City Thunder? That's like that's never happened in like the last 8 years. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Like, you got to be average defense. Like, you saw what the Pacers did tonight. The Pacers were one of the worst defenses in the league. And yes, I understand Brunson dropped 40, but they were in the game tonight because they score. And they keep scoring. And they put pressure on you by scoring.
And Halliburton was terrible. And he still was in the game.
And they should have won the game. I mean, there were some really bad calls. So I don't care about 6. Like, you've been rated 6 now back-to-back years, and you've won 0 playoff games.
Hey, Justin, hold on. What was that again? One more time. You've
been rated 6 defensively the last 2 years, and you've won 0 playoff games.
You know, my bad, Chaz. Go ahead.
Nah, I was just sighing. I wasn't even saying nothing. Go ahead.
You know, my fear is that, you hear him talk about the crescendo and how you wish it would end differently because the season was successful. And my fear is that they just all in they're all in the vice president of basketball operation, the executive, excuse me. They're in his office giving each other high fives, patting each other on the back. Oh man, it was a great season. It was great. It was not. It was tumultuous to say the least for a lot of the season. Injuries didn't have anything to do. You got the most out of Zion Williamson this season than you ever have. Him and Brandon played the most games together.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And what seed did we get? What seed?
You got 8,
right? 7.
It was
7.
No, it was 8, huh?
We was 8. Yeah, we was AC.
It was 8, Chaz, because we lost the playing game.
Yeah. I forgot.
At home.
We beat the Kings. So yeah, we was 8. Dang, that's embarrassing. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Successful.
Moments where we really showed what we could be, but I think we did it often in fits and starts, which is disappointing. We're in a historically good Western Conference. I read something the other day that I think is true. It's the first time a conference has had 10 teams above 500 at the same time. Our record this year would have been good for 3rd in the West last year, would have been good for 3rd in the East this year.
Stop it. We play in the Eastern or Western Conference.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Playing the West, man.
We're talking about last year. We're talking about a year ago, which doesn't matter right now. And we're talking about changing conferences.
I think, you see, It all depends on, and that's why the pushback is so critical in situations like this, because that would have been a perfect moment for someone to say, all right, what the fuck you mean by that? Like, are you saying that in totality there were a lot more wins to go around in the West, so it was just a rising tide lifting all boats, and you really not that good? Or you saying the East was bad this year? What are you really saying? Because there's multiple ways to interpret that, right? Because him saying, well, we would have been third in the East. Okay, so you saying the East, I mean, you saying the West is head and shoulders above the East this season. So that means most of the teams in the East you faced were either bad or you should have just swept the East, because clearly the East wasn't good, right? Also, you say that. Look at, like, you played the Knicks twice on second nights of back-to-backs this past season. You lost twice to Chicago, Eastern Conference team. You split with the Cavaliers. You only beat them when everyone was resting. You lost twice to Boston. Who else you lost?
Twice to Orlando.
You lost twice to Orlando.
Lost to, I got it right here, Chaz. You lost to Chicago. You lost to Miami. You lost to,
you got swept by you split with Miami.
Lost to Atlanta.
Lost to Atlanta. Well,
So
split with Atlanta.
You swept Detroit. You swept Philly, but you never played Embiid once.
Yeah,
and I think Max was missing that other game, right? You beat Milwaukee at home. You beat Washington. You split against the Pacers. Beat Toronto. Beat Brooklyn.
It just, I don't know, man. We could roll the tape.
Yeah,
One thing I gotta say about that though is never trust somebody in clear glasses.
It's a very competitive conference. And so I think whereas in the past we've always erred on the side of continuity, and our takeaway has always been, let's see this group healthy. I think we've seen it enough. I think we had some really, really good opportunity to see Zion play a career high in games. I think we saw it for segments of time well enough to understand that we've got a lot of work to do. And again, because it is a historically good Western Conference, there's teams that didn't make the playoffs that are going to get radically better this offseason. We need to do the same.
Okay, this is what I'm curious about. You saw it. We have work to do. There are teams that are going to come back and be better than us next season. What is obviously we can't answer this question, but what is the work that he has to, I want to know what he sees, like specifically. I want to know what he sees that needs to be done.
Yeah. I mean, he sees Memphis will get better. He sees that Houston will probably be better than you next year. He sees Golden State. He sees the Lakers. Like, these are all teams that are behind you right now. Like, the Grizzlies fully healthy are going to be really good. The Rockets, they're going to be just fine. Yeah, one of the best coaches in the league. The Warriors, can't really count them out. And then look at all the teams ahead of you. Are you better than Minnesota?
Not that Minnesota.
You better than Denver? You better than OKC? You better than the Clippers? It's 12 teams right there. The Spurs. Like, yeah, there should be some urgency. There should have been some urgency last year too.
I mean, he's again. See, Griff's so slick, bro. Griff, he's a masterful speaker, right?
Oh, my bad.
No, he's a masterful speaker because he's saying some true shit, some real shit. He's not totally aloof in this, but I need him kind of put into a corner so he can like answer questions directly. And no one's really putting him into that corner necessarily. Like, all right, what do you mean by that? Changes like what? Like,
I just think if he did that, Chaz, I just think like, oh, what do you mean by that? He would just then keep spewing just words. Like, he would just keep talking. He would just keep talking.
That's real, but it's like at a certain point, it's like it can't be for lack of trying. Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta at least like give yourself a chance to fail with the shit. Don't let him off the hook. But it's good.
And I think you'll see a real sense of urgency from all of us to do that.
Looking at next season, what are some of the biggest needs you think you need to address?
I think it's more than just specific needs. It's really just about growth in every area of the organization. I think last year we talked a lot and too much was put.
What does that mean?
Growth of the organization. What does that mean?
What does that
What does that
mean?
mean? The ticket reps guys got to get
The
better.
popcorn lady got to be better.
The food's got to get better. The seats got to, like, what are we talking about here? Like, are we talking about basketball or just the whole thing? Does the practice facility need to get better? Like, what needs to get better?
The parking lot attendants got to help you park better.
Like he just said, like, so this is what I'm talking about. He's just saying words. Like, Chaz,
That's why you gotta read the rest.
Chaz, I texted Chaz, like, he said a lot, but it didn't really make much sense. There's just a lot of rambling on.
Yeah, he said a lot without saying anything.
Right. Go ahead, Lito.
That word salad. That's what that is.
Put on the medical side and the performance side, and we didn't talk enough about the other things that we were working on. This entire building is going to undergo a transformation this offseason, figuratively and literally. Really big projects here that ownership is investing in. Mrs. Benson's really excited about.
Stop it right there.
Changing the look.
What are they investing in? What more are they investing in there? They're investing in what?
It's supposed to be updating the practice facility, right?
Cool. Does that mean we're going to shoot better? Does that mean our X's and
we
O's are going to be better?
I
So rotation going to be better?
A brand new practice facility after the AD trade. I thought all that shit already had happened.
They updated the medicals, like you've seen the background. They updated the medical, like the training.
The gym, right?
The gym's been like, I feel like they updated the gym floor. Like, are we
like they did a
new
bunch
floor
of shit after the AD trade? Like when he first came in, he was we
got new banners. Joy,
the weight room too, right?
Yeah, like when he first came in, he said Gail gave him a bunch of bandwidth to do a bunch of different things. And I know they had updated a lot of the facilities. I don't know to what point, but that was about 5 years ago at this point. So maybe they're still not on par with the rest of the league necessarily because they were starting so far behind. But the fact that this is just now happening, it's like, I read the shit with Trajan today when he said, yeah, we never had a physical therapist. And it's like, bro, Trajan, what you even do, bro?
They're updating the cafeteria. I know that they updated the medical weight room area in the back. Like, I don't know what else needs to be updated, but go ahead, Lito.
Look and feel of this. I think that will happen on and off the court. But in terms of specific needs to address, we haven't even had our time to visit with our players individually yet. So until we do that, I don't really want to get into specifics about player-related changes.
When do you start kind of that process? So you don't do, I know you don't have a knee-jerk, but do you take a week off? Do you kind of map out when we sit down with Mrs. Benson and kind of plan out the future, who's here, who's not, what our vision is? Like, what is your process?
Yeah, that's from a front office perspective, it's an ongoing process, right? I mean, we're doing it constantly. I think you get yourself in trouble if you try to do anything as a reaction to one particular series or one particular turn of events. If we did that when we came back from the Western Conference road trip we ended the season with, which was just an absolute meat grinder, and you win four in a row, and you play 3 games in 3.5 days, and you play the Lakers, would we tend to the side of believing we're what we were when we won those road games, or are we what we were when we lost to the Lakers? You just can't do that. This is a much larger, more thorough process than that. So we'll
You were the same team either way. Either way you slice it, you were the same.
Somebody was missing on that road trip. Just thought
the funny thing with him is that he says that, all right, we judge games in 10. This is his words. We judge games in 10-game increments, right? So it's like, to me, if you saying that as a person with some common sense who follows the team closely, I'm like, well, 10 games before Brandon got hurt, he wasn't playing well. The 10 games after he got hurt, you started playing pretty well. And the 10 games he been back, you played like shit. So, it was what? 2 playing games. No,
you went 1 and 5. You went 1 and 6.
Yeah, so it was 7 games. In the 7 games he was back, you played like shit. So I don't really I get not making decisions immediately or having like clear thoughts immediately because you don't want to react emotionally. But at the same time, it's like I think you pretty much knew where this was headed even because you don't only got this year data, you kind of got last year's data too, as far as how the team looks without Brandon. If you put it all together, you got a significant amount of data. But
I want to know who when he said sit down and talk to Miss Benson about players. What do you think Gail knows who's on the team? Like I'm
No.
a little
I
confused.
can tell you. I'll tell you right now. She could not name. I don't think she can name your main rotation. I would put money on it. Like I'd be like, Gail, who's your top 8? There's no fucking way she could tell me full names. No way.
You think she shouts out Jerry West or something?
I would bet anything on that. No doubt in my mind. I've thought about this too. Like, there's no way if I was like, hey, Miss Benson, who are our top 8 guys? I don't think she could do it. I really don't. Bro,
You think
we're fighting for a playoff life. She's in Rome. She's in Italy.
Hey,
you think she cares? Roll the clip. Keep going. Keep going.
You think she think Bill Walton a free agent?
It'll take a lot of time to go through it as a group. We don't tend to do that during the year as much and as often with every interest group in the organization together. We tend to do it as a front office. So this will be a good time for us to really dive deep with the whole group. But I want to be really, really clear. This is not going to be a summer of complacency. It's time to get better.
Hey, girl, what's kind of your assessment?
I feel like y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like we've heard that before.
Different words, but yeah.
I look. The last time he said that, he traded Steven Adams for Jonas. So that's gonna be the big swing.
We got Trey Murphy, right?
Yeah. So that's gonna be the big swing.
Do you believe him?
No.
Chaz, you believe him?
I see this the tricky part. If I take everything he said in totality, like up until this point, he knows that the team got to get better, right? He knows that they can't really compete in the West right now. I think he gonna try. I think because that's the thing with this team. They always try, but they never get it done. It's always, it's no cigar for these motherfuckers. So they always like, well, we tried to move up in the draft. We tried to get Kevin Durant. We tried to get Scoot. We tried to get this person. Like,
DeJounte Murray. Don't forget the Murray thing.
DeJounte, Michael, they always try, but it's like, what it's going to take to seal the deal. My thing is, will you have the motherfucking wherewithal to seal the deal? I don't doubt he going to try, but will you seal the fucking deal?
No. I think we know the answer to that. No.
Yeah, most likely. Nah.
Say that again. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think the coaching staff did a really good job with a really difficult situation.
Can you stop it?
I think.
What was difficult?
What was difficult about the situation?
That's the thing too. Cat.
Are we talking about the last week and a half? Are we talking about the last week and a half? That was a difficult situation because once again they played their most games. So what was difficult? Was the NBA season difficult?
See what he's doing, and that's why you can't let a motherfucker like this off the hook. I've been seeing people like this all my life. You gotta see he's trying to circle the ring. You gotta cut him off and say, wait a minute. I'm not talking about just the postseason. I'm not talking about that. Because that's easy to like, Zion was out. It's easy to say that. I'm talking about the entirety of the motherfucking season. And if you talk about the entirety of the motherfucking season, I don't want to hear about Brandon went down at the worst time. Because Cat went down, and we didn't even think Cat was coming back. And Minnesota kept busting ass. The entire rest of the season kept busting ass. All you lost was Brandon. You know what I'm saying? And Jose went down too. Man, who gives a fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Respectfully, who gives a fuck? I don't care if Jose not playing. That's like Cody Zeller not playing to me. Who cares? Like, I'm not, that ain't nothing serious to me. So, like, I'm not, our undrafted free agent went down. What do you want us to do? It's like, man, come on with all that bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Come on with that bullshit. That went down. The motherfuckers kept chugging along. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Garland went down. Mobley went down.
Murray went down.
Murray went down. Trey was out. Trey Young was out. You know what I'm saying?
Kawhi Leonard was out. Like
Julius
every
Randle's still out. Julius Randle's still out.
yes,
Julius
every
Randle's
team.
still out. Every team go through shit.
So yeah, but just go.
Hold on. Before we move forward, he did such a good job. You're fine with the job he did, but you never announced his contract extension.
To this day.
I thought about this. They've never confirmed it though.
That's true.
So
too.
it's just a report, right?
No,
So,
no. Christian confirmed it.
But Christian said to my knowledge.
Yeah,
but,
to my knowledge.
But the Pelicans can't confirm it. And then I see today, the Mavs now announced that they have an extension for Jason Kidd. It's like I feel like I'm crazy. I really do. I'm like, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, but then I'm thinking to myself, like, who doesn't announce an extension for your head coach and then you raise ticket prices on season ticket holders?
No, Justin, let me tell you what was crazy. What's crazy is Darvin Ham getting fired and the Clippers extending Tyronn Lue.
I think it's a smart move.
But I agree with you.
I know they are not. I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get it.
You think the Ham fire was bullshit?
Yeah. I mean, you want to win with LeBron. If you don't make a finals in 2 years, you're out. Like, who's Dave? Was it
David Blatt?
Yeah,
they won with Blatt though, right?
No, they fired him mid-season, and Ty Lue came in.
Ty
Lue got promoted. Ty Lue got promoted from assistant coach to head coach. That's when they won the championship.
I thought he got fired the following season.
Blatt?
Yeah, he made it to the finals, right? And then the next season he got fired, I believe.
Let me check it. Go ahead, Lito.
Go.
When you've got guys in and out of the lineup in the way we did, that's harder than just having guys not play. I think in the first part of the season, we really performed well under adversity, and that propelled us to some wins that probably got us further ahead towards the end. I think we went through a stretch there where we lost B.I. and Jose at exactly the wrong time. And then we lost Z at exactly the wrong time. And I think throughout that, Willie stayed very, very authentically himself and stayed in a space where guys knew what he was going to bring to the table every day. I think that's hard when you've got that much change. And at the same time, I think Willie would be the first person to tell you there's room for them to grow and get better as well. And I expect that will happen as well.
You lost the 12th man. Jose would be the 12th man on your team. And that's the name that you brought up along with Brandon.
By the way, David Blatt, you're right, Chaz. He lost in the finals and then got fired after going 30-11 in the middle of the year, and then they won that year.
You know what's crazy about Griff saying that though? I think, to me, I take that as a bit of a shot at Willie Green, because if we talking about what happened here, we also got to talk about shit we know what happened behind the scenes, right? Like, we know Griff then cursed Willie Green out several times, or at least confronted him several times, like, yo, what you doing? And fuck, who's to say he ain't confront him a bit this season? Because that point Zion shit didn't come out of nowhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we had heard that, Griff kind of wanted Hawkins to get a bit of, some run out there. To me, I think that's a bit of a, not like a super shot, but that's like, yeah, he needs to be better as well type situation.
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't have anything, Lito. I feel like we're talking about the same shit. Like, yeah, we gotta get better.
Decent sample size of CJ Zion and BI together. You guys lost those minutes. Just what do you make of the fit of those three guys? Can you run it back with guys all making more than 30 mil when you lose the minutes?
Well, the making more than 30 million means they're really good players. And if you look at the teams that are still playing in the playoffs and will play deep into the playoffs, they all have multiple players that make a lot of money and are really good and can carry the team forward. So you certainly don't come at this with, we're going to build around one of them. I think certainly anytime 2 of the 3 were on the court, we won those minutes. And when 3 of them were on the court, we tended not to. That has a lot to.
Can we look that up? Can we fact check that?
Chaz, do you have that?
I don't have the exact numbers, but I looked it up after this and I did confirm it. Like the Zion CJ minutes were cool. BI CJ minutes were cool, but they not like overwhelmingly good. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like +1 net rating or some shit like along those lines. But I think the consensus would be that it's like the Zion CJ pairing makes the most sense, because him saying this, he said a bunch of things that's true, but that also contradict one another. Like he said, what he just said about 2 of them being on the court, yeah, that's true. And if you look at the Zion BI lineups, I'm like, yeah, them 2 on the court was in the positive. It wasn't good, but it was in the positive. But you know that them 2 don't fit one another. Where he speaks on that kind of later on in the thing, because he can only be talking about one person when he's talking about fit. So yeah.
All right.
Do with what we support that group with and giving them the ancillary pieces that help them thrive as well. And I think knowing now, because we've gotten to see the group enough what those things are, I think we'll be able to address some of that and get better that way. But certainly we have to be open to a lot of different things.
Do you think you need 1 or 2 more big difference makers to win the West?
I mean, I'd take 7 or 8 more difference makers. No, I mean, I don't know that it's difference makers as much as it is pieces that make the difference makers we already have fit better as well. You know, I mean, we've got the kind of players that everybody wants on really good teams.
Stop it.
I think one thing you did see is that
he keeps doing this. We've got players that every team wants.
I don't know about every team, but see, it's half truths. Like he man, there's no way for me to say it without being
crazy.
That was a bad question. I don't know who asked that question. That was a bad question, because it's like, yeah, motherfucker, even the best teams want some more talent. Like, like what kind of question is that?
Right.
Like, you know.
Yeah, of course, everyone wants a difference maker. I mean,
yeah,
you want 15 difference makers. That's obviously the perfect story right there. But okay, go ahead.
No. I feel like, yo, you know what Griff is? Griff a battle rapper. Griff just say shit. He says stuff. Nobody really fact checks it. Nobody really checks it in general. And then like he looks around the room. He sees you agreeing with him, or you might laugh, and then he just like embellishes on it. I'm looking at this roster. People coveting, again, no disrespect to him, but EJ Liddell.
What about Cody Zeller?
Cody Zeller?
You think 32 teams are lining up for Matty Ice?
Jose Alvarado.
A lot of teams would for Jordan Hawkins, but we don't play Jordan Hawkins. You think 32 teams are lining up for Dyson? What about Larry? This is what I'm talking. Yes, Trey Murphy, all 32 teams. Absolutely.
Now listen, I just heard Matt Ishmael do the same thing. He said he kind of made the same statement, but I understand why he did it. I mean, I get why Griff does it too, because you know what I'm saying. It's a seller's market, so you gotta put your players on a pedestals for them to, you know, people to think you got some fool's gold for them. Griffin saw the shit out some fool's gold.
Sorry, I had to correct myself. I didn't mean 32-30. That's the NFL. Sorry, 30 for NBA. Go ahead, Chaz.
I'm just like, for me, I'm never mad at a pimp for being a pimp, right? I'm mad at a hoe for being dumb. And the thing, because the immediate counter to that would be you talking about CJ Zion, because I'm asking you about CJ, Zion, and Brandon right now. You're talking about them 3 right now, right? And if he say yeah, it's like, well, you not like wrong. Like, I'm sure any team in the league would be like, I would love Brandon Ingram on the team in some capacity. I would love Zion on the team in some capacity. What I'm willing to give you for them is a whole different discussion. What I'm willing to pay them is a whole different discussion. Like, you know what I'm saying? So more half truths. This guy's slick. I like this guy. He's slick.
Nah, and that was incredible.
Our secondary players, our ancillary pieces are very, very good and very well thought of.
You just said you need to get better fits around the motherfuckers. And now you saying it's good and well thought of. Larry Nance is not good. No, like Cody Zeller, not good. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't have any words.
It's incredible. What's that Harry Potter spinoff? The Fantastic Tales, Beasts of Fantastic Tales, and that's what this is. This is a fantastic tale. This is not reality. We do not have incredible secondary play. We don't. You literally saw not being able to score 100 points in a playoff series.
We didn't score more than 92. Lito. We weren't even close to 100.
See,
we averaged 86.5 points.
This is why, if I put my conspiracy theory cap on, right? This is why, and this is why I can't, like, this motherfucker here, he just do cold-blooded, bro. In a way, he telling the truth because we don't know who he talking about.
That's
he could be talking about Herb and Trey. Now, if you talking about Herb, Trey, and JV, you can say, well, when one or two of the big three was out of the lineup, all of them dudes shine. So they supported the talent as ancillary pieces incredibly. And it's like, yeah, he not lying. Like, we saw Jordan Hawkins have some big games. He not lying. So that's why you gotta know who he talking about. That's the thing. This motherfucker slick. This guy. You. This guy.
Chaz, this is gold.
This motherfucker slick.
There's going to be a lot of room for growth for them. There was a period of time.
What is Larry Nance?
Incredible. If they're incredible, why they got so much room to grow? Like,
yeah.
If they're incredible at their job, how much more room can they? Like, how much more room do we need?
Where does Larry Nance grow as a basketball player?
Let me ask y'all this. Y'all think Griff think he's smarter than the people he's talking to?
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to throw nobody on the bus. Do you think when he gets to talk freely like this, it kind of reinforces that thought in his mind? Like, y'all not going. Because think about this.
It's not easier said than done, though, Chaz. Like, it's just hard. Like when you're in that moment, right? Like, I understand what you want asked.
No. What I'm saying is this, right? Because it's a lose-lose if you're gonna ask him a question. I'm gonna tell you why. If you say, "Who you talking about?" in this regard, he gonna say, "Well, clearly, if I'm talking about room for growth, motherfucker, I'm talking about Trey." Right. Herb, and
so you don't want to set yourself up for embarrassment.
Yeah, so you don't want to set yourself up. But you gotta put them in the corner, given the context of the situation. Like, if this was year 1, year 2, you don't do that. Now it's year 5. Like, what the fuck you got to lose? Like,
it's tough.
This year, where Jordan Hawkins was, I think, second in Rookie of the Year balloting, and people thought we had absolutely stolen something. And he's somebody we're really excited about moving forward. He's going to be one of those difference makers eventually, we think. I think we have a lot of pieces that are.
Did you hear what you just said? He's going to be a difference maker eventually, we think. He's going to be a difference maker eventually, we think. So why would you, if you think that, right? If you think that, this is your thought process.
Common sense question right here.
Why wouldn't you play him? Why wouldn't you see what you have? Because if you are trying to make a big move, right, you need to get better. You need assets. You need bullets, right? Well, shit. No one knows about Jordan Hawkins because you DMP'd him for the entire second half of the year because he wasn't a good defensive player when you drafted him to be an offensive player. This is the bullshit I'm talking about. What does that even mean? So if you know you're high on this kid, you don't give him a shot to play.
I mean, I told you this earlier. I told you this the other day. You gave Willie Green a Lamborghini and he drives it like a Honda Civic. So
A couple years ago, we would have said the same thing about Trey or Herb. So we have several pieces we can grow with. We have several draft assets that we're going to be able to use to leverage to get better. And I think to your point, yes, you need more difference makers, but what you need is more people who understand exactly what's being asked of them on a regular basis as well.
that right there. You need more people who understand what's being asked of them on a regular basis. What is that? Hold on. Wait. Hold on.
Can you rewind that?
Yeah, I can.
This is good stuff, Lito.
Pieces we can grow with. We have several draft assets that we're going to be able to use to leverage to get better. And I think to your point, yes, you need more difference makers, but what you need is more people who understand exactly what's being asked of them on a regular basis as well. And we've got to do a better job of making that clear.
Hold on. For anybody says anything, hold on. For what does he know? What does that mean? That was very telling.
Chaz, you go ahead, man. Your time.
I think he's talking about Zion and Brandon. To me, that's really the only two culprits that have been like who were like incredibly underwhelming. I mean, there's other guys he could be speaking about in terms of like Herb, we need you to rebound more. Trey, we need you to get better on defense and rebound more. But when you're talking about like holding people accountable, it mainly starts with Zion and Brandon. Like Zion, you gotta be a professional. You gotta be in shape from the jump. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like that. It's not my job to hold your hand through that portion of it. You know what I'm saying? With Brandon, I think it's more on just strictly on the court stuff. Like this, you got to shoot threes. You got to defend better. You got to buy in. You got to just be better. And I think that's he kind of been saying that all off season though. To Griff's credit, I hate to give him any. He was saying that all off season and this year, like guys got to buy in and be who they supposed to be.
Well, I think that's kind of telling because we always talk about hierarchy or lack of a hierarchy. Like somebody got to say Zion hasn't seen the basketball in 5 minutes. Somebody has to say Trey hasn't gotten a shot in the whole full quarter in the last 7 minutes. I feel like that was a very telling statement. Now who you telling on? I got my ideas, but
well, there you go. You don't know though.
Yeah.
David, how motivated is the team in keeping Brandon Ingram? I know he's available for extension talks.
He about to cook.
How do you compartmentalize?
That would have led you to believe we'd be playing deep into the summer at times. I think we have a lot of pieces that are that. A couple years ago, we would have said the same thing about Trey or Herb. Brandon, because he takes so much.
For him, it's the worst season he's ever had here in New Orleans.
Yeah, I saw his comments. I really appreciate Brandon because he takes so much personal responsibility for this and he cares so much. I also love the fact that he loves this franchise. He loves this.
Did we forget that Brandon? Did we forget what happened at the last game? Or I'm sorry, in the playing game against the Lakers when he moped on the bench? Did we? And then he skipped the media session. Are we just? I'm just saying. Are we forgetting about this?
This is why he's slick, though, Justin. This is what makes this man an expert. He says he takes responsibility for this.
Oh,
we don't know what the for this is. The for this could be getting swept. You know what I'm saying? And of course, no one's going to redirect him and say, when you say for this, what do you mean for this? Like for this as in being the leader of the team, or for this as in how he performed in the postseason? So
okay. Thank you for clearing that up, Chaz, because that's exactly what we're. Go ahead, Lito. Sorry.
City, and he wants to be here, and we're really grateful that we've built something people want to be part of. I think Mrs. Benson and her team should be very proud of what they've built. That we have so many guys that want to.
What have they built? What have I missed?
what the fuck? Yeah,
They have literally 2 playoff series wins in fucking 23 years. What are we talking about? What have we built? 0 division titles. I don't even give a shit about division titles in basketball, but 0. They have 2 playoff wins in 5 years. Playoff wins, not series wins. 2 playoff wins. They set this is the second most in franchise history with 49 wins. Should we name the list of players that have come through this organization? I mean, you're talking about Hall of Fame players.
yeah.
Like, what have we built? I'm confused on what we built. We have no banners in the stadium. We've built nothing. Nothing.
The Lakers got a playing tournament banner.
At least they got a banner.
They hung it. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Guys, we were talking about hanging division title banners this year if we would be in the Mavericks, and then we were also for sure going to hang a play-in tournament championship banner.
I thought that shit was pathetic. I mean, like,
especially for the Lakers.
The in-season tournament shit, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But we go ahead.
We haven't built anything. Yeah, go ahead, Lee. We haven't built anything.
Stay a part of this. At the same time, I think his willingness to take ownership of things makes you feel even better about the human he is. And that's the one thing I'm really proud of. I think we've gotten the people part of this right to an enormous degree throughout.
Can we stop about
this roster?
Once again, I don't care about the people. I want to win basketball games. I really don't care about the people person thing.
Neither.
What are we talking about here?
I think they putting so much like baking soda on that, because it's like let's talk about just in the building, right? He skips media, he milks injuries, he gets coaches fired. That's what person part
quit on the team in the playing game.
He quit on the team. He what people, but see, again, I gotta throw him some bell, because what are you supposed to get up there and say? That fucking loser here. He can't say that. But
then we celebrated. You know what we did the next day after Brandon did the whole thing? He was like, "Hey, Brandon had a great practice. Brandon didn't miss a shot in practice." It's like, we're celebrating practices now. Like, this is where we're at. This is what we
some extra time with Vincent and Borrego.
This is what we've built.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all you got to celebrate, Justin. What else are you supposed to do?
Joy, compassion, and whatever the other mindfulness.
And I expect that will carry us through the summer as well.
And with him, is your feel that it's max or nothing? Like, could you see a world where he accepts less than the max?
Yeah, I mean, we've never talked about it, and I haven't.
That's a lie.
Play it.
It's a lie.
Talked to him at all.
I meant the other thing. You're lying.
I just.
Oh, my fault. Hold up.
It's perfect. That was a perfect opportunity.
That was a lie. Damn, do I have it in here?
It might not be in this this room.
Yeah, I guess I have that.
I'm sorry.
I had a great deal of appreciation for what he tried to do in light of the situation and playing through what he played through and
what he tried to do.
Chaz, what did Jamal Murray say today? You tweeted it.
Well, in short, he was like, everybody playing through something at this point. And that's pretty much the old basketball adage. The only thing is, again, if you griff, you gotta say this motherfucker was hurt. You gotta say something, because if you don't, he gonna just look like he was trash. Like, you know what I'm saying? And if you're a smart like scout or a smart GM, you've seen him put up performances like he did in the playoffs throughout this season, like prior to any type of injuries and all that shit. Like, I've spoken about it ad nauseum. It's some politicking going on in this, you know. It's some things that he has to say. And again, he not going to get no pushback because, like, you know, they probably don't want to make it a defensive type thing. Me personally, I don't like this. I don't like him standing in front of them, talking amongst them. I want you at the podium where there's enough space away to make the reporters be comfortable and brave enough to ask whatever they want to ask. When y'all up close intimate like this pause, it kind of make motherfuckers like, oh, look how small Griffin is. He's a little guy. I don't want to bully him. You know what I'm saying? It kind of things go through your mind like that. But fuck all that. Like, you gotta talk to people like this.
He lied. Y'all need to worship him. Lied.
Great video.
Coming back in the way he did, he was really thrown into a difficult situation. I think Willie alluded to it last night, but to be injured for a month and come back and have to play.
Can you stop it there? So thrown into a difficult situation. So if you knew it was a difficult situation, why did he start the last game of the year? And why would he not just come off the bench? Can you tell me what? Can we answer me that? Why would you saw? Because David Griffin earlier in this presser said we were playing great basketball on the West Coast. We didn't lose a game, and then you said difficult situation. So let's throw Brandon Ingram, who isn't 100% in, right back into the starting lineup in a difficult situation when you could have just kept him on the bench, kept him on a minutes restriction, go against the second team, get his rhythm. No. We didn't do that.
Let me say this.
Right into the starting lineup.
Let me say this. If he was ready to come back versus the Lakers, he was ready to come back a couple games prior to that. Also, this motherfucker either good or he ain't. If you good, ain't no difficult situations. You're gonna make the best out of it. I done seen people come back and we beat their first game back and they beat the dog shit out of us. We was Donovan Mitchell's first game back. He beat the dog shit out of us. Ja twice. Like, you know what I'm saying? That means you really think this motherfucker is a weenie. That's what you saying. You think this motherfucker's a chump. And you brought this chump back and this chump didn't deliver. Because it's only difficult for a chump. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hit unless he's like you find out he got some kind of torn patella or something serious didn't happen. You think this man is a chump and you feel like, well, we brought this chump back. What you expect from him? He's a chump. I'd rather you just come out and say that from a basketball perspective. But I don't want to hear all this. Oh, it was difficult. Yo, it's game 82. Who not hurt? Who not going through something? LeBron, 40 years old. Right. AD always got something wrong with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't all that sucker ass shit. Well, you know, what do you expect? You know, man, if you think it was gonna be difficult for him, he should have stayed home. I guarantee you nobody wanted him back on the court. Especially not in the starter's capacity. I know I didn't. I was like, please don't do it. Please, Mr. Dog. Please, Mr. Dog. You brought this man back, fuck everything up. Now your stupid ass at home looking dumb. Look at you.
I mean, there's nothing I could really say to compete with that.
Difficult situation.
Playing the crucible of playoff basketball, that's not easy for anybody. You'd like it to be. You'd love to just think it's plug and play and we're going to just plug in another superstar and carry on. But one of the things that Brandon and Z have had to do a lot of is carry the team when the other one is out. It hasn't happened very often that when that happened, they were both out and asked to carry the load. So I think it was a really difficult end of the season for Brandon, but it was difficult for everybody. I think CJ encapsulated a lot of that really well last night in his 20 minutes with you all. So
I know you, since you got here, have kind of unapologetically talked about what you said, doing it the right way with the right people. And I think for those of us that have been here a long time, you see something that's more positive and tangible than it ever has. But when you kind of maybe just overall philosophy, talking about contract extensions and how you handle people, how do you balance that with the person and who they are and your belief in them versus maybe raw analytics and stats, which may say something else?
That's a good question about
there's a good question.
Well, numbers don't say anything, to be clear. Numbers prove someone's point or they
hold on. Wait.
What did
I think
that's crazy. See, Chaz, there's no way.
This the thing too. This the part. See, that's what I get. I watched this shit like 5 times. This motherfucker's good. Like, and don't underestimate how dope he is, right? When it comes to this type of shit. What he's saying, in my opinion, how I interpreted this on like my second or third watch is he's saying numbers without context don't mean anything. Because it either proves your point or it doesn't, right? So how he rounds the turn with this answer, he gonna say, well, you know, we see when 2 guys on the court, they good. When 3 on the court, they bad. So in context, yeah, you know, it's right. So that, to me, that's how I interpreted it. But he could have totally not meant that at all. It could be surface level and he being a fucking what he's been described as is a greasy pig, quote unquote.
Slimy ass freak.
Yeah, slimy motherfucker.
I felt like, first of all, he is good. The word salads that he chooses to spew it into microphones is incredible. Like this man could sell you beachfront property in Chalmette. Like like I just really don't. Man, it's tough. It's got to be tough to stand there with your journalistic integrity, holding your microphone, listening to him, and then trying to ask a follow-up question. He said something that was kind of crazy though. He said, Brandon and Zion have had a difficult time because they've had to carry each other and the team when they're out. I don't know if anybody knows, but like that's generally how that works.
Yeah.
That's why they paid the big bucks.
Yeah. That's what usually happens. I mean, what do you think, Joe? You think Jalen Brunson shut it down when Julius Randle was like, shit.
Shit looked like he turned it up to another level.
Right.
And then Josh Hart.
That's why it's 15 of these motherfuckers and not 2. If it was 2 of us, it makes sense. It's 15 of them. That's why you should build a good team. But
it just proves someone's point that they're trying to make at any given time. Numbers don't give you any answers. The better you are with numbers, the better questions you ask. And I'm not convinced we've asked enough of the right questions yet, and we're going to continue to do that. But in terms of balancing what people think it looks like with what it should be, you're never going to pivot all the way to one side or the other. We're never going to pivot to, it doesn't work. That can't work. Even if we made changes, we would make changes with similarly high character human beings that are about the right things, because that formula for us is solid. I think one of the things when you ask the question about the 49 wins, our foundation and our nucleus is really good.
What that mean?
Let me hold on one second. I just want to remind everybody, this question is about how you negotiate contracts. I just want to make sure we keep that in perspective.
Because that's what I'm talking about. He's just talking. He's just saying things. Chaz is right. He's a genius. Because I'm so focused on what he's saying, but I forgot about the question. I'm so focused on what he's saying.
Know what I think he's saying? I think he's saying, look, I tried to get some players and they didn't want to come here because they're not about the right things. Really, they don't want to come to New Orleans and they don't want to play for the Pelicans. But the guys we got, see, they losers. So they didn't mind coming here and signing on with us. Because that's really, to me, that's what he's saying. Like, you like, who you tried to get that wasn't about the right thing, brother? Like, who you got that we all like, well, this is a great like, motherfuckers do what they want to do with their money. I ain't never heard about Brandon being in no soup kitchen in New Orleans giving nobody nothing. I ain't never heard about, only people I know about is CJ and Larry. And
Zion did something during
Zion did something for the school, right?
Zion also did something. I think he picked up the workers, like
and
the workers' salary, maybe.
During COVID, right?
Yeah, but Zion does some stuff. Zion actually gives back to like the community, the youth centers, things like that. I've seen him multiple times.
And his dad should have had to do that anyway. Gail should have did that.
Yeah, that's real. I think that was a talking point too when that first happened. Like, why isn't Gail doing it? All her money goes to the church. But still, that's the thing. You talking about the human element shit. Ain't no evidence of that. So what you even talking about? Like, I guess.
And again, we're competing in a historically good Western Conference. You come out of a series where a really, really good team sort of waylays you. It makes you think you won 9 games and not 49 games. The reality is we won 49 games and did a lot of really good things. And so I think you're never going to fall on one side or the other of that. It has to be all of it. It has to be the totality of all of those things. And I think to a fault, we probably erred on the side of continuity because we hadn't seen it. And I don't think we have to do that. But I also don't think there's any subset of numbers that is the answer.
Talk about
that boy.
The question was about a contract. He reverted back to the team's record And now
And good
he
people.
just said numbers
good
don't
people.
matter again.
We had good people. And a really, really good OKC team that started the same rebuild as you did, but they didn't have to win it, which I'm sure we'll get to in a second.
This dude is the beautiful mind guy. He's Russell Crowe in
of a team, does good with Brandon, BI, and BI, CJ, and Zion all over the court. But those first games,
this is a good follow-up question.
The other is out there to step up. How much does that push the lack of no complacency offseason and wanting to get maybe another star-ish player to come in and fill that void?
Well, I mean, again, we just talked about, and Christian asked the question about the three guys playing together. Those are three damn good basketball players. So you can go get three different stars and put them together. That's not necessarily going to work. There's a second apron tax team that got swept out of the playoffs too. There's a second apron tax team that didn't make the playoffs. They got a lot of star quality. So it's not that. It's you have to get the right fit of the right pieces at the right time. And as CJ said, to some degree, you have to get lucky. The thing that I think OKC has done incredibly well from a fit perspective is those kids got to develop and those young men got to develop in an environment where winning didn't matter for
Pause that for me real quick, Lito, please. You know what's crazy? This is Chet and J-Dubs' second year. They're the three best players. The three best players are essentially and this is Chet's first year. The third best player or second best player on that team. This is his first year with that roster, actively playing and shit, right? But see, this motherfucker is slick. You gotta peep game with this motherfucker, right? So you talk about fit. Like he went because he the one who kind of like brought up the word fit. And then you reference CJ as in, oh, CJ is not a problem. Like that's kind of what you're saying. Right. Like it's just like reading between the lines with the shit. He's saying it, but nobody really like putting them under the gun. Like, what you mean, brother? Who don't fit? Who the one? Who the one don't fit? Point them out. Point that motherfucker out. Who the one?
Yeah, that the kids had time to. They made the playoffs last year.
No, they made the play and they beat us. They made the second game and lost, right?
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
They lost, but then they've also won more playoff series. And they've won more playoff series than you.
And also Minnesota
won more playoff games than you.
Minnesota also beat us, and they went to the playoffs last year as well.
Yeah.
So,
and they have way more many assets than you. Like it's not even close.
Not close. And they got the better players.
And once again, you started at the same time. You started at the exact same time.
What about the war chest?
Yeah,
there's no war chest when you don't.
And our team was consistently trying to win. So the development curve looks different and the trend line looks different.
Yo, go ahead, Lito. I want to ask y'all something. Go ahead.
So at what point do you see like the development curve being different and trying to win, quote unquote, because I don't know how you was trying, but quote unquote trying to win. At what point do you see that not working and you say, hey, you know what, maybe we should go another route?
Yes, or whenever this press conference was a week ago.
Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think that he had orders to be competitive immediately?
No, absolutely not. Because if you remember, Chaz, the reason why he took this job is to have full control.
Right. Now
he's answering to himself.
Now, here's my follow-up question.
Sure.
Do you think the guys he brought in or the guys that he counted on failed him in the short term?
Who's that? Who you specifically?
I gotta say Drew. Do you think he believed in these guys?
What did he say? He's an MVP or something like that? Or he's the leader of the team?
MVP candidate. He needed permission to dominate. He's the number one option. The team's going to go as far as he can lead them. Do you feel like he was the one who failed this team?
Drew?
Yeah, at its inception. Mind you, because Brandon was an all-star, he certainly didn't fail the team that year. Lonzo was always going to be who Lonzo was, though Lonzo wasn't that good. So you put it on Griff and not Drew necessarily.
Yeah. Do you let me ask you let me ask you this. Do you think Drew Holiday was ever in his career ever an MVP candidate?
Hell no. Now, what I do think is this though. I did think Drew was at least a number 2 option.
Okay, that's fair. Do you think he was an
I
all
was a
NBA
fan of
caliber
Drew.
player? Do you think he's an all NBA caliber player?
If he a number 2
Top
option,
15.
maybe
Top
3rd
15.
team. But let me say this also.
Maybe.
I also didn't know a lot about basketball at the time. I was just a regular, I was like a regular fan of the team. I wasn't as versed as I am now. So I just thought Drew was good because Drew was my favorite player on the team.
Okay.
And you know, that's why I was like, oh, and look, believe it or not, guess who my second favorite player on the team was?
Eric Gordon.
No, Brandon Ingram.
Oh, you're talking about the current team. I know you're
that was my first favorite.
Brandon was my favorite player.
I was like Brandon. I was like, but I always thought before Zion got hurt there preseason, I said something about this dude game just don't look like it go with everybody else. I just didn't know what I was talking about. Like I didn't know how to word it, but now I understand. We go ahead, Lito.
I think in some aspects, I agree. I don't know if Drew failed him because I think Drew just like who Drew is. I think Zion failed him.
With the injury?
Not even the injury, but like the unseriousness of him being a professional, how he treated it probably up until last year.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at what we've done, we went 36 wins, 42 wins, 49 wins. I mean, that's consistent year-over-year growth and development. That's exciting.
If numbers don't matter, if numbers don't matter, let's just say you win 46 games next year.
You regressed.
Right. What then?
What have we developed? What's developed?
I think
guess what Herb and Trey have developed.
Well, yeah.
Has Zion, like in y'all's opinion, is Zion developed?
I'm gonna be honest about that because I gonna say I think Zion is way more like offensively skilled than we've seen. I just think he a person who get away with doing shit because he hasn't have to do other things because the game has come so easy to him. But I do think Zion can shoot. I think his handles is decent, not good, but decent. And I think Zion has much more skill than we've seen. Other players, I think it depends on what you say about Brandon. I think they did a good job at developing Brandon in the first couple years here. They helped develop Lonzo's shot, but they just don't do well with young raw talent, in my opinion.
The problem is we can't look at that and say we're home because the West is just getting so much better so fast. So I appreciate the question, and at the same time, I don't think this is more star quality necessarily. I think it's more fit and the right pieces.
What do you think of Zion's season as a whole?
Obviously, getting him to play a career high number of games was exciting for us. And when I say getting him doing the work to get to that point was exciting. He did a remarkable job this year. I think coming out of the in-season tournament, he had seen a lot of what he needed to do better, and he really bought in.
So the in-season tournament, how many games was that into the year? Would y'all say off the top of your head?
At least 30, right? At least 30 something, in my opinion.
Sure, fine. Just say 20 to 30 range. Why did a change have to happen then? Why didn't the change happen in the off season leading into the season? Why were we not ready?
It did, right? According to him,
well, no, he said Griff just said that we saw some change after the in-season tournament, meaning that he was what he was from games whatever 1 to 30, and then was nationally embarrassed and then changed. My question to y'all is, after the horrific injury, then into the off season and all that other crap, why wouldn't he have come prepared day one? Why did it take him that long to look himself in the mirror and say, I got to change now?
I think I don't want to talk about him going forward because I don't know yet. But I think up until this point in his career, he's been a bad professional. He's gotten great rewards doing motherfucker 2-time All-Star doing the bare minimum, right? And that's always been the curse with this player, with Zion specifically. You get away doing the bare minimum, in your mind, the bare minimum is enough. When I saw some of them photos and shit on media day, even before that, when I saw him working out with the stretch bands and all that, I was like, that dude not where he need to be. Like you could tell by like his arms and things of that nature. Now, I'll say I thought he started out this year better offensively, even with the numbers being. I thought he started off better compared to how he started off last season. I'll say that, but I think just overall, there's just a total lack of synergy from top to bottom with this team, and I don't know how to fix it.
To his credit, though, Zion, like to Zion's credit, like I don't want this to be mistaken. He was incredible after the in-season tournament. It's still like that. There's still a problem though. That why was he allowed to show up like this or not be in tip-top shape coming off an injury, which we still know the hamstring injury. We don't know what kind of hamstring injury we even had against the Lakers. But sorry, Lito, go ahead.
Yo, go ahead. Wait,
Go ahead.
Y'all give Griff credit for trying to trade him?
Yeah, I do.
I give him some credit for looking into it.
We know for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to trade. Well, he at least gauged the interest.
I'll give him credit if that's true. I'll give him credit.
I always
give
look
him
at
credit.
Zion like the Joel Embiid story. The timeline is damn near the same. Like, and up until this point, he's played more games. Yeah, give him credit. Get y'all a shirt too. At this point, Zion played more games than Joel.
Right.
And by a significant amount. So it's like, it's interesting.
Into that, I think the connection he had with our performance team was pretty profound in a positive way. I think we saw a lot of really good.
Yeah, shout out Amy Atmore and her team. They were actually like, if there was a positive of this whole year, like I really thought they did an incredible job with the entire. Like we talk about Dyson, like we talk about injuries. Like Dyson Daniels came back in like 29, 30 days. Maybe I'm a little bit. Maybe it's 38 days or something like that. I know he didn't get a lot of run after, but I'm saying those like there was definitely an improvement in that. So I can definitely give Griff credit for that, and Amy and her staff. I thought they did a really good job.
Facts.
Things on the court.
Shout out to Amy, yeah.
I think probably for me the most disheartening part of his injury was you saw him take and make pull-up jump shots towards the end of his run there, and that.
Why did it have to be towards the end of his run? Why did nobody put pressure on him to do this when he was fully healthy?
This goes back to my point. Why was he not fully in shape coming into the year? Like, I know there's like some guys that like just like Luke is like a great example. He doesn't always come into shape and then like plays his way into shape. But Luke is like a top 5 player. He's been in Western Conference Finals. Like he wins. He's never won anything. Like,
you know what's kind of crazy about Zion's game? Usually when you're not in shape, like you take jumpers. Like
that's when you actually do take jumpers.
Yeah, like he still was layup hunting in a sense. Like he never, I don't know. That's been a frustrating I don't know.
That was something that coaches have been encouraging him to do, and he was reluctant to do because he always feels like the best option is to try to shoot at the rim. And I think you saw so much evolution in his game that came from the evolution in his body and the work he put in. So we're really excited about where Zion is and where he intends to go.
This is a team that's publicly talked about wanting to take 43s a game. The talked about it, the coach talked about it. At some point, it becomes a numbers game with the personnel and stuff. Just what are your general thoughts on? And I know there's no right arbitrary number of taking a certain amount of threes, but there was a strong correlation with your guys' wins and the number of you take. So just what are your general thoughts on just you talk about fit, just getting the right type of players in there to get some of those numbers up?
Yeah, I mean, I think the right number of threes to take is the number you have to take to make more than your opponent, right?
Because that shows to me, I hate that answer because it shows a lack of consistency. Right?
It's condescending though.
Well, look, when they said 43s, like you're not getting 43s every night. But there were times that you shot like 17. There were times you shot like 19. Like there was something you missed your mark by 20. It's more of the consistency. Like I hate that answer because you play a different way every time. Jared says this all the time. You don't play the same way. That's why you can't get on a 5-game winning streak. You don't play the same way for 5 straight games.
It's a condescending answer, man. It's kind of like what? Like you don't have no basketball science behind that answer. Like, okay, yeah, why the Pelicans got swept? Because they ain't score more points than other team. Yeah, like, okay.
You don't say, right?
Damn, I never thought about it like that.
So there were games we got outscored by 30 from the 3-point line at times. That's not a formula for success, right? And at the same time, we were 6th in defensive rating. So we were taking away a lot of efficient shots in theory. I think offensively, it's yes, you want to take more threes, but what you want is an offense that efficiently creates those looks. And I think you saw that even in the Oklahoma series. We had a lot of open threes, and guys who have made threes all year missed a lot of threes. And at the same time, they had guys who missed threes all year make a lot of threes. You want action.
Is he just specifically talking about Josh Giddey? Because the others are pretty good shooters from the number perspective. So, like, who hit threes for the Oklahoma City Thunder that ones were like Lou Dort?
He had a crazy he had a crazy run one game. He had like 3 threes in a row. But I think
Lou Dort shooting 40% from deep.
I think that's probably, again, it's a thing of half truths. They did generate a lot of good looks in that offense. They just didn't take it. But I think
Chaz, I'm going to cut because guys like Larry Nance, Jose Alvarado, Najee Marshall were shooting the wide open threes. Brandon couldn't get open. You didn't play Jordan Hawkins or Matt Ryan, and they had to really focus on Trey Murphy. So as a coach, as an opposing coach, the opposing coach did his job by making the others beat you. So no shit, they were open. This is what I'm talking about. This is literally playing into their hands.
Like, you want those guys taking those shots. And the crazy part is, if Jose hit 10 of them, no one would care. They're going to go them the same way the next game.
Just like with Larry Nance. If Larry Nance hits I hate when Larry Nance hits a 3 because now I'm like, oh,
you're going to take a bunch of them.
He's go 1 for 3. But
dog, Lou Dort in his last 4 shot 52% from 3 on 6 shot attempts. And his last 5.
Lou Dort shot 40% on 5 3-point attempts this year. He was a really good shooter. So I don't know who the hell he's talking. The only person I'm thinking about he's talking about is Josh Giddey. And Josh Giddey absolutely destroys us every single time.
Dog,
so I don't know what he's talking about.
He had 1 bad month from 3, and that was in January. He shot 31%. Everything else has been 43, 38, 43.
And what did he shoot last year? What did he shoot last year? Lito? What did he shoot from deep last year?
Hold up. Let me see. Career. Okay, now my computer tripping.
Don't worry about it. Whatever.
Yeah, sorry.
That yield good looks, and I think to a huge degree we had that, and I think we need to do a better job of getting people to lean into that shot and understanding that it's good for them. And again, the coaching staff worked tirelessly at it. I think they did a great job of improving both the number of looks we get from 3 and the quality of looks we get from 3, and we just got to get to a point where we've got more of the right pieces on the floor to make them.
A lot of the conversation around the Pelicans is they need a pure point guard. What do you make of that line of thinking?
Yeah, I think having a pure point guard is great, just having more basketball IQ on the court in general. I think it's less about the specific of a pure point guard and more about overall basketball intelligence and approach to the game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a score-first point guard. I don't know that I call him a, quote, pure point guard, but they're getting the best, most efficient look on a real regular basis with the way they're running their stuff. So it can be predicated on one individual or it can be predicated on system. And I think we've done a little bit of both throughout our time. And yes, I would like more basketball IQ for sure.
Do you think Zion is on the verge of elite?
I think he's been fully elite and run through the door of that at times in his career. I think he's on the verge of being able to be sustainably available as elite. And that's exciting for us.
As far as
That's a good answer.
Sorry, I know everything's kind of a time and of a place. Just following up on that question, I know there was talk of like when it was Drew Holiday's team when you first got here, MVP candidate, and then BI being an All NBA type player. Is it maybe time to lean into Zion being that guy for this franchise and say the pieces around him are the most important thing?
I don't think you lean into one person ever doing that. I just don't think any team playing that intends to continue to play is going to think that they're built around one person. Denver can say they're built around Jokic, but Jamal Murray's the one making all the game-winning shots, right? So I think if you look at it, it takes multiple star quality players to win, and we've got to find the right fit of that.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
That was a chicken shit answer. That was bullshit. Ain't no way if we looking at Denver, bro. You know who the best player on Denver is. Denver knows who the best player on Denver is. The ball is in Jokic's hand 95% of the time. Yeah, Jamal hit the game winners for sure. I'm not taking that from him. But you got like he not saying this in context. And that's my problem when he talk about taking numbers out of certain things. You're not telling the full story with the situation.
I think again, it's one of them like Lito just said, it's one of those half truths. And it's like that's where pretending that you have a Jamal Murray has gone on for too long. And you've been able to get away with pretending you have a player of that caliber. You know what I'm saying? What you really got is you don't even have a Jokic. You know what I'm saying? You got let's say Zion is a Jamal a little bit better than Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is more consistent and more available. But you really just got two Michael Porter Juniors. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got two Michael Porter Juniors and a guy who's above Jamal Murray talent-wise and but below Jokic for his effectiveness and results. So again, it's like, yeah, that's true what you saying, but motherfucker, you know what I mean when I ask you this question. And that's to me the biggest point. No one really redirected their questions and drove home. No, you know what I mean when I say this. And what would have been dope is if a motherfucker said, "Why can't I just ever get a straight answer out of you?" Like that would have been
it's just, but you just think you just know it's not gonna. Yeah, look, the overall, I can't do Griffin pressers. It's just a lot of rambling on and talking. Like I'm at the point now where, okay, you're saying, first off, you're raising ticket prices. You said there's a sense of urgency. If you don't make a move, you didn't make a move. Okay, you sent 4 second rounds, right, Chaz, and Devontae Graham.
Yeah,
for Josh Richardson.
4 in the first.
You signed Cody Zeller and Matt Ryan. You drafted Jordan Hawkins. You did nothing at the deadline. Okay, you're up. You've seen it. It ain't good enough. Are you gonna make a move? And that's why I don't think that they're keeping Brandon. There's no way. There's no way they can currently look at this and be like, "Yep." And maybe it's not Brandon. So I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Because I still like Brandon Ingram. A lot of people think we don't like Brandon Ingram. I actually really like Brandon Ingram.
The thing is, he's good at basketball.
It's really good.
We just talking about the fit. We talking about the fit between him and Zion. It doesn't work. And then when
if you have to choose one, okay. If you have to choose one, who are you choosing?
Choose Zion.
Chaz?
Who
you choosing?
I don't even have to say. I don't even think it's good.
There you go.
Hey, I think the telling part of that press conference when Griffin's like the coaches have been urging guys to take certain shots and they're not taking them.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
It's a style of play that doesn't fit the team. It is what it is, man. Zion doesn't shoot threes. Brandon can shoot threes.
And that's
It's
the thing to me where it's like, well, bro, it's not like a major adjustment to your game you have to take necessarily. Like tonight, Cat and Ant took the same number of shots. I'm talking about to close the game, you had a Cat 3, an Ant 3, Ant layup, Cat 3. Like, you know, it was just clean, effective basketball. Both guys playing like just great team basketball, clear hierarchy. To me, it all boils back to the hierarchy. Like if you wasn't as comfortable in your spot, you would do what was asked of you. But since you feel like you're so secure in your spot, you're not gonna do what's asked of you. You're gonna do what you want to do. I felt like Griff threw Brandon under the bus a lot in that throughout the season, but in that presser. Because opening season presser. Check it out, opening season presser, media day presser. Well, you know, we don't have a leader like that. Like, I wish we had a guy like that. He said this in the opening season presser throughout the season. Oh, CJ changed his game totally. You know, we wish everyone would do that. CJ taking his shots like in the press. Now in this one, you know, we need to be mindful of guys not, you know, we're asking guys to do. We need to be mindful of who we asking, who we fit, like who fits. And when you talk about fit, you only talking about one person. Like, you clearly not talking about CJ because you already praised him. You clearly not talking about Zion because Zion is the guy. He's the son, as CJ said. You got to fit around this guy, right? So that leaves one other motherfucker. Like, so it's like, what you gonna do, brother? Like,
you need to bring some real hate to this organization. Some meanness. You need a little bit of that.
Psychopath. Yeah.
A little bit.
That's so crazy. That is
Draymond crazy motherfucker, dog. Draymond is good for the league. Dre, you need Draymond.
It really is, man. Set the tone.
You gotta have a villain, man.
Yeah. That's all I got, man. Y'all got anything
Great
else?
show. Great idea, Lito. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate y'all pulling up, man. Thank y'all. Hopefully, now we know how to run it. Maybe we could do it again as far as like we get another press conference or something like that. But that's all I got, man. Peace. Oh, how I ended. Hold up. Damn, I'm still on the other screen. All right.